to Learning English with Common Ground International. I'm Misty Davidson. I'm an ESL teacher with Common Ground, and I'm glad you decided to be part of our day today. Our lesson today is adjective clauses in English. Clauses that give us more, adverb clauses, that give us more information about verbs. We're going to be doing a lot of talk about adverbs. They answer various questions. So let's begin. Our objective. By the end of this lesson, you will recognize 4 types of adverb clauses, and you will know how to use them. You will also know how to reduce adverb clauses. Okay, let's first talk about what is an adverb. An adverb modifies or describes a verb. Also another adverb or an adjective, but we're going to only talk about adverbs modifying verbs. Adverbs give us more information about the verb. Adverbs answer 5 questions. When? When did this happen? Where? How? Also in what manner? How are adverbs of manner? Why? And to what extent or to what degree? How much? Now, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that contain a subject or a verb, just like a sentence, but there are a few differences. An independent clause really is a sentence. It can stand alone as if it were a sentence. Let's look at I cooked dinner. There's a subject, I. There's a verb, cooked. It's a clause. It's also a complete sentence. It makes sense as a sentence. It's an independent clause. It needs no help. It makes sense as it is. A dependent clause cannot stand alone. Even though it has a subject and a verb, it does not make sense by itself. For example, when I got home from work, there is a subject, I, there is a verb, got, but if I said to you, when I got home from work, you'd say, well, what happened? It needs some help. I need more information. It does not make sense. It is dependent. A dependent clause needs to join with an independent clause to form a complete sentence and to make sense. Now, if I put these together, when I got home from work, I cooked dinner. Now that makes sense. Or I cooked dinner when I got home from work. I can have the independent clause first and then the dependent, or I can have the dependent clause first and then the independent. Now, what is an adverb clause? An adverb clause is always a dependent clause. It can't stand by itself. It needs help, and it modifies or describes the verb. It functions as an adverb in the sentence. It gives us, again, more information about the verb, like any adverb. I washed the dishes while you were sleeping. I washed the dishes is an independent clause. It can stand by itself. While you were sleeping is dependent. It needs some help. And when did I wash the dishes? While you were sleeping. All of that modifies the verb washed. There are 4 types of adverb clauses. There are adverb clauses of time, of contrast, of cause and effect, and of condition. We're going to look at each one. Let's look at adverb clauses of time. They tell us when something happened. There are certain words we use to introduce them. When, while, until, as soon as, before, after, since. All of these words give us a sense of time. I'll drive you to the library as soon as I finish the laundry. When am I going to do this? As soon as I finish the laundry. I'll finish the laundry, then I'll drive you to the library. Or I can say, as soon as I finish the laundry, I'll drive you to the library. I can place the adverb clause either at the beginning or the end of the sentence. Before you leave on vacation, give me a call. Or give me a call before you leave on vacation. He went to the gym after he finished working. Or after he finished working, he went to the gym. When did he go to the gym? After he finished working. Let's look at adverb clauses of contrast. Adverb clauses of contrast express the opposite of what you might expect. And you'll see some examples. We introduce them with these words: although, even though, whereas, while. Although she was sick, she went to work. If she was sick, you would think she would stay home. You would not expect she would go to work, but she did. So it modifies went. Although she was sick, she went to work. That's the contrast. I took the train to Chicago with my family, even though I dislike trains. Or even though I dislike trains, I took the train to Chicago with my family. You would think that I would say I'm not doing this, but I did it anyway. I enjoy mystery stories, whereas my sister likes nonfiction. A contrast. This is what I like. This is what she likes. Okay, adverb clauses of cause and effect. Adverb clauses of cause and effect tell us why something happened. We introduce them with these words, and you'll get all these words on flashcards, so don't worry about remembering them all. Because, since, as, so, or so that. They give a reason. I left work early so that I could avoid rush hour traffic. Why did I leave work early? I didn't want to deal with rush hour traffic. Since she is from Vietnam, English is her second language. Why is English her second language? Well, she's from Vietnam. Or you could say English is her second language since she is from Vietnam. I can't come to your party because I'm sick. Why can't I come? Because I'm sick. Or because I'm sick, I can't come to your party. And finally, we're going to talk about adverb clauses of condition. Adverb clauses of condition talk about how something will happen as long as something else happens. We use these words to introduce them. If, even if, unless, whether or whether or not. I won't go to his house unless you go with me. If you go, I'll go. If you don't go, I'm not going. If you loan me $10, I will be able to buy lunch, or I will be able to buy lunch if you loan me $10. You loan me $10, I buy lunch. If you don't, I don't buy lunch. Even if they offer me a raise, I'm still quitting my job. Or I'm still quitting my job even if they offer me a raise. Even if they have this condition, I'm doing what I want to do. I will be there tonight, whether or not you can come. If you come, I'll be there. If you don't come, I'll be there. Okay, let's talk about reducing adverb clauses. Reducing means making smaller. When we reduce an adverb clause, we make it shorter. We can reduce time, contrast, and cause and effect clauses. When this happens, the adverb clause no longer has both a subject and a verb. So it's no longer a clause, no longer an adverb clause. It becomes an adverb phrase when it has one or the other. Let's talk about reducing adverb clauses of time. We have a formula, a time word and the ing form of the verb. The time words we talked about before, after, when, since. You're going to see a sentence with a regular adverb clause, then you'll see it reduced. Before he applied for his job at the university, he did a lot of research. When did he do this? The research before he applied. Before is the time word. He applied as the subject and verb. Now watch this. Before applying for his job at the university, he did a lot of research. We take the time word before, applied becomes applying. We leave out the subject. Has a verb but no subject. Before applying for his job at the university, he did a lot of research. They're both correct. They both mean the same thing. One is an adverb clause. One is a reduced adverb clause or an adverb phrase. Let's look at some others. Let's look at reducing an adverb clause of contrast. Use this formula. The contrast word plus the ing form of the verb. Again, you'll see a clause. Though he earned a high salary, he was always broke. Broke meaning he didn't have any money. Though is the contrast word. He is the subject. Earned is the verb. Let's see it reduced. Though earning a high salary, he was always broke. The contrast word, the ing form. A verb, no subject. Both mean the same thing. When an adverb clause of contrast has be for the verb, use this formula. The contrast word plus the adjective. Although she is poor, she is always well dressed. Okay, we have is, although she is poor. Contrast word, subject, and verb. And now we're just only going to have the adjective. Although poor, she is always well dressed. This is when you have be as your verb. Okay, to reduce an adverb clause of cause and effect, we do this. If the adverb clause in effect has be for the verb, here is our formula. We say being plus the adjective. Okay, with a clause, she stayed home because she was sick. Being sick, she stayed home. Was is be verb, being, and then the adjective sick. She stayed home. It means the same thing. If the adverb clause of cause and effect has any other verb, we use this formula. Ing form of the verb plus the subject. Here is a sentence with a clause. Since he speaks Spanish fluently, he loves to visit Mexico. Reducing it, speaking Spanish fluently, ing form of the verb. He loves to visit Mexico. Okay, let's do some practice. You will see two sentences. Combine them to make one using an adverb clause. The type of adverb clause to use will be in parenthesis. There may often be more than one correct answer. Let's begin. I don't want to visit Alaska. I don't like cold weather. You're going to make a cause and effect clause. I don't want to visit Alaska because I don't like cold weather, or as I don't like cold weather, or since I don't like cold weather. Or we could have the dependent clause first. Since I don't like cold weather, I don't want to visit Alaska. Because I don't like cold weather, as I don't like cold weather, I don't want to visit Alaska. Now, I'm not going to show you all of them with the clause either way, but it can be either way. Number 2, she will buy a Toyota. She will buy it if her parents advise her against it. This will be a clause of condition. If you said even if, or whether or not her parents advise her against it, she will buy a Toyota. Number 3, he filed for bankruptcy. He earns $300,000 a year. This is a contrast clause. And if you said he filed for bankruptcy, though he earns $300,000 a year, or although, or even though, you're correct. Or you could say, even though he earns $300,000 a year, he filed for bankruptcy. Filing for bankruptcy means you go to court and say you have no money to pay your bills. Number 4, I need to finish paying my bills. Then we can play golf, a time clause. After I finish paying my bills, we can play golf. When I finish paying my bills, as soon as I finish paying my bills. Or we can play golf as soon as I finish paying my bills. Number 5, I won't talk to you. You need to apologize to me. A condition clause. I won't talk to you unless or until you apologize to me. Until you apologize to me, I won't talk to you. You will get sick. You need to get enough sleep. This is a condition. You will get sick unless you get enough sleep, or unless you get enough sleep, you will get sick. Number 7, I was in Portugal. It snowed at home. A time clause. While I was in Portugal, or when I was in Portugal, it snowed at home. If you had that, you're correct. Or it snowed at home while I was in Portugal. Number 8, I quit my job. I was offered a better one. And I didn't tell you what clause. A cause and effect clause. I quit my job because I was offered a better one. Or since or as I was offered a better one. Okay, now you're going to reduce the adverb clause to an adverb phrase in each sentence. Let's begin. Although Maria was sick, she came to work anyway. There are a couple of ways you can do this. You can say, although or though sick, Maria came to work anyway, or Maria came to work anyway, although sick. Okay, let's look at the next one. Since he had extra time, my neighbor helped me rake leaves. Having extra time, my neighbor helped me rake leaves, or my neighbor helped me rake leaves having extra time. Because she was shy, she avoided talking to people. If you have being shy, she avoided talking to people, you're correct. Or if you have she avoided talking to people, being shy, you are also correct. Number 4, while I was rushing about the house, I sat on my glasses and broke them. Rushing around the house, I sat on my glasses and broke them. Or I sat on my glasses and broke them, rushing around the house. Number 5, though she is pretty, she has a mean personality. Though pretty, she has a mean personality, or she has a mean personality, though pretty. Let's do some reviewing. To review, adverbs answer the questions when, where, how, or in what manner, why, and to what extent. Adverb clauses are dependent clauses. A clause has a subject and a verb. Adverb clauses are dependent. They can't stand alone. They need help. They give us more information about the verb. They may come at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. There are 4 types of adverb clauses: time, contrast, cause and effect, and condition. Some adverb clauses can be reduced. Sometimes they can be reduced. When this happens, the adverb clause becomes an adverb phrase. And there you have it, all about adverb clauses. I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Misty Davison with Learning English at Common Ground International. Thank you for being part of our day. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.